Welcome to A Journey in Song, where we look at the life and creative mind of Manda Menzies. She is a South African author, poet, lyricist, and storyteller. We're here to explore how she uses poetry and music to record her life experience, the raw feelings and thoughts she has transposed into song. In this episode, we are going to dive into the lyrics of Somewhere, Sometime, written by Manda Menzies.
And, as we get into this, I want you to think about the last time you felt just a really heavy grief or a longing or loneliness so intense that it actually physically hurts.
Yeah, because usually when we deal with the physical world, there's a comforting precision to our pain, right? Like
Yeah.
you break your arm, the x-ray shows this jagged line and the doctor points right to it and says, there it is.
It's visible. It's
Yeah.
neatly categorized.
Yeah, and it's highly actionable. It gives us a tangible target for a cure.
But the moment we step into our internal lives, that x-ray machine just shatters. We're left staring at this emotional landscape that is entirely invisible to the outside world. But it's overwhelmingly dense to the person actually experiencing it. We all endure these tidal waves of subjective emotion, profound isolation, heavy grief, or even just blinding, fleeting bursts of joy.
And without a physical cast to put over a broken heart or a visible bandage for profound loneliness, those intense feelings basically become trapped.
Yeah, they loop. They loop endlessly in our minds.
Right. They lodge themselves right in our nervous systems, primarily because we simply don't know where to put them, which is really what makes our mission today so fascinating.
We are looking at the anatomy of a feeling today.
Exactly. We aren't here to decode celebrity gossip or offer some generic relationship advice. We are here to witness an incredible, highly effective psychological tool at work.
We get to explore how Manda takes an intense, messy, entirely subjective emotion and just forcibly transposes it into objective words on a page.
And building that lyrical architecture does far more than just create art. It actually acts as a mechanism to regulate the nervous system.
Yes, to restore psychological balance. We really get to see Manda use the narrative arc of somewhere, sometime, to capture a state of just immense vulnerability.
Rather than letting the emotion remain this shapeless ghost haunting her day.
Right. She uses the boundaries of this song to actively close an emotional episode.
So the way she constructs the opening of this song is masterful, I think, because it doesn't start with the pain.
No, it starts with the architecture of longing.
Yeah, the entire first half of the lyrics is dedicated to building what she calls a glorious dream.
And to truly feel the devastation of her waking up later in the song, we first have to really buy into the undeniable, hyper-real gravity of the dream space she builds.
She doesn't just state the abstract concept of missing love, which is smart because abstract concepts are notoriously slippery for the human brain to process emotionally.
Oh, absolutely. If someone simply says, I am lonely, we understand it intellectually, sure.
But we don't necessarily feel it viscerally.
Right. We don't feel it in our bodies. But Manda bypasses the intellect entirely by constructing a highly specific environment.
I would almost call it a hyper-real sensory simulation. It's like putting on a high-definition virtual reality headset.
That's a great way to put it.
Because what makes a VR experience convincing isn't the broad strokes, right? It's the spatial awareness and the really minute physical detail.
Oh, little things.
Exactly. Listen to how she sets the stage. She writes, I had the most glorious dream of you and me together, somewhere where we could be filled with laughter and quiet looks.
It's so vivid.
Right. And then she says, you would smile, reach over, lay a hand on my shoulder, and I would press my cheek against your fingers.
Wow. When you read that progression, what strikes me is just the undeniable tactile weight of it.
Yes, the tactile weight. You can almost hear the specific tenor of that laughter in the room.
And you can feel the distinct physical pressure of a hand resting on a shoulder.
Yeah, and that skin-on-skin friction of a cheek pressing against fingers.
She anchors the illusion squarely in the physical body. She is basically demanding that the reader, and honestly her own nervous system, experience the physical sensation of being touched.
And she elevates that physiological anchor even further when she introduces scent.
Oh, with the fragrance lines.
They are incredibly evocative. Let me read those.
Yeah.
She writes, your smell would linger, mix and mingle with the fragrance of mine. Together it would be more than sublime.
Such a deep sensory dive.
Right. She goes on, we would smell of orange blossoms and musk, fragrant roses at dusk, quiet nights and heady days, deep, dark wine and candlelight.
This is where she's essentially painting with neurobiology. Out of all our senses, scent is the ultimate override switch for the human brain.
It really is.
To understand why Manda leans so heavily into the smell of orange blossoms and musk and dark wine, we have to look at how our brains process sensory data.
Okay, break that down for us.
So when you see a visual or hear a sound, that information goes to the thalamus first.
Which acts like a biological switchboard, right?
Exactly. It routes the data to various parts of the brain for logical processing.
So sight and sound have a built-in delay. They get filtered through our logic centers before they even reach our emotions.
Yeah, but scent completely bypasses the thalamus.
Wait, completely?
Completely. The olfactory bulb, which handles our sense of smell, has a direct, unfiltered, high-speed line straight to the amygdala.
Which is the brain's emotional processor.
Right, and it also goes to the hippocampus, which handles associative memory. This is why you can catch a whiff of a specific perfume on a crowded elevator and instantly feel this massive wave of nostalgia or grief.
Before your conscious brain even registers what is happening or who walked past you.
Exactly. Scent is basically a time machine that doesn't ask for permission.
I love that. A time machine that doesn't ask for permission. By detailing the musk of this imagined partner mingling with the roses and the wine, Manda is hacking her own nervous system.
She's making the illusion of this partner psychologically indistinguishable from reality.
The dream becomes so heavy and present that you can literally breathe it in. But having established this incredibly vivid, sensory-rich room, the specific choreography of what actually happens inside this room takes a fascinating turn.
It really does. The interaction she describes defies all our usual expectations of romantic longing.
It completely flips the script. When we think of intense, lonely longing like the kind of longing that wakes you up in the middle of the night, society trains us to expect the fantasy to be dramatic.
Oh, yeah. We expect sweeping cinematic passion.
Right. We picture someone running through an airport terminal or standing outside in the pouring rain with a boombox.
Or a booming orchestra playing during this grand reunion. We always equate the depth of love with the height of the drama.
But Manda rejects that cinematic climax entirely. Instead, she writes, "You would touch a finger to my lips. I would kiss it absent-mindedly while perusing your hair with my fingertips."
It's so quiet.
It is. She finishes it with, "It would be so very casually there, the scent of our love in the air."
That phrase, casually there, is really the emotional anchor of the entire stanza.
And the word absent-mindedly, that might be the most revealing word in the entire composition.
I completely agree. It breaks down the true anatomy of emotional safety. I mean, grand gestures and dramatic passions are thrilling, sure, but they require a state of physiological hyperarousal.
Right. Your heart rate elevates, adrenaline and cortisol pump through your system.
Your senses are on high alert. It's the peak of a roller coaster.
And it's exhilarating, but if you stayed at the peak of a roller coaster for a whole week, you would collapse from sheer exhaustion. You just can't live in a state of hyperarousal.
You really can't. And when someone is trapped in a season of deep isolation or navigating the murky waters of grief, they are already exhausted.
Their nervous system is constantly scanning for threats, constantly managing the pain of the void.
Exactly. So they aren't actually craving the exhausting hyperarousal of a grand romantic movie scene. They are desperately craving their baseline. They are craving rest.
So, true emotional safety isn't found in someone declaring their love in the rain. It's found in the absolute, effortless comfort of the mundane.
Yes. To be able to kiss someone's finger absent-mindedly while playing with their hair, that means your threat detection system is completely turned off.
There is no anxiety about whether you are loved or not.
There's no performance happening. You don't have to earn the space you're occupying. The love is just present in the room, functioning like oxygen.
That reframes the depth of her vulnerability completely. She isn't just revealing a longing for a specific partner. She is revealing a profound psychological yearning for a state of absolute, unguarded trust.
She wants to take the heavy armor of daily life off.
And she brings her nervous system and ours as the listener into this state of ultimate peaceful relaxation, which makes the transition into the next stanza utterly devastating.
The environment just violently collapses.
The whiplash is brutal. We go straight from this warm, safe bubble of casual intimacy into the stark, immediate shatter of the morning light.
It's a hard pivot.
She writes, "I liked that dream, woke with a smile on my lips, turned to tell you, found that you had never been there."
And then the ending of that thought.
Yeah. There was no you, only a me.
The physical motion of turning over in bed. that turn to tell you, is where the psychological toll is highest.
It operates exactly like the medical phenomenon of a phantom limb.
That is a perfect analogy.
When someone loses an arm or a leg, their physical body has changed, but the brain's internal map hasn't updated yet.
The neural pathways are still actively firing for a limb that no longer exists.
Right, an amputee will reach out to grab a coffee cup with fingers that aren't there, and for a split second, their brain fully believes they are about to make contact with the porcelain.
The tragedy lies in the muscle memory. Manda's nervous system was so convinced by the scent of the orange blossoms and the tactile weight of the hand on her shoulder that it literally fired the command to turn and speak to her partner.
The pain isn't just in waking up alone, it's in the instinct to share the beauty of the dream with the very person who was the dream.
It is reaching out to touch something your brain insists is right next to you, only to grasp empty air.
The collision of the internal reality she just built and the external reality she has to endure is absolute. And this brings up a crucial question about the function of writing this down.
Like, why do it at all?
Exactly. Why document the single most agonizing part of the morning? Why not just let the painful thought pass, try to make a cup of coffee, and distract yourself?
Right.
Why force yourself to relive the exact moment the phantom limb grasps the empty air?
Because distraction leaves the emotion formless. If she doesn't write it down, that profound grief and isolation remain a shapeless void hovering over her all day long.
Just a heavy fog.
Yeah. By forcing herself to formulate the specific words, found that you had never been there, and culminating in, there was no you, only a me, she is actively constructing a psychological mirror.
She is confronting the illusion head on.
This isn't just poetry for the sake of aesthetics. It is an active, functional mechanism for survival.
It's the psychological equivalent of finding the walls in a pitch-black room.
Oh, I like that.
When you are alone in the dark and experiencing vertigo, the infinite space is terrifying. Reaching out and hitting a solid, cold wall might hurt your hand, but it instantly stops the spinning.
It gives you boundaries.
Right. There was no you. Only a me is a brutal wall to hit, but it provides undeniable grounding.
And acknowledging the stark reality of the emptiness is the first mandatory step in emotional regulation. When feelings remain unspoken, they whisper that they are infinite.
They tell you the pain will stretch on forever.
But naming the reality contains it. She pulls herself out of the dissociative dream state and forcibly plants her feet on the solid ground of the present moment. She has to name the void before she can survive it.
We've tracked the construction of the hyperreal dream, explored the profound vulnerability of casual safety, felt the brutal whiplash of waking up, and witnessed the stark grounding of reality.
It's a massive journey.
It is, but Manda refuses to let the song or her own psyche end at rock bottom. The brain can't sustain that level of acute grief forever, so she has to find a way to break out of the loop.
She initiates the protocol for recovery in the final lines.
Let's look at how she finishes the thought. She writes, but perhaps one day, somewhere out there, where dreams come true, there might be a we made of me and you.
It's quite a shift.
Yeah, when I first read that, my instinct was to view it as a bit of a poetic concession, like a way to tie a neat, happy bow onto a sad realization so the song doesn't end on a total downer.
Sure, that makes sense on the surface.
But considering the intense psychological utility of everything we've discussed so far, I suspect there is a much deeper functional purpose to ending the lyric this way.
Oh, absolutely. It is a deliberate and functional emotional pivot. Psychologists refer to this process as closing an emotional episode.
Closing the episode.
Right. Think about the energetic state of the previous line. There was no you, only a me. That energy is entirely stagnant.
It is a heavy, immovable weight pressing down on her chest.
It is grief for a phantom. If she simply stops writing there, that stagnant heaviness remains the dominant state of her nervous system.
The story would just end in a dead end.
Exactly. By adding that final stanza, perhaps one day, somewhere out there, she isn't engaging in delusion.
Notice her careful use of the words, perhaps, and might be.
Yeah, she isn't denying her current, isolated reality by pretending the phantom partner is coming back tomorrow. What she is doing is gathering all of that intense, heavy, stagnant longing and actively projecting it outward into a potential undefined future.
She transposes grief into hope.
She really does.
It completely shifts the current of her emotional river. Instead of the longing pooling into a stagnant, toxic swamp of despair, she digs a channel for it to flow forward. It becomes active.
The song essentially functions as a safe container. It provides a clear beginning where the emotion builds and the dream is established,
Then a messy middle, where the harsh reality of the void is confronted.
and a definitive end where the emotional energy is redirected toward hope. This structured narrative allows the raw emotion to be safely processed, categorized, and quite literally put to rest on the page.
Because the feeling has a defined home now, with a start and a finish, she can close the notebook and actually go about her day.
It no longer needs to haunt her nervous system.
She gave the ghost a house to live in, so it doesn't have to follow her around anymore. This exploration has been a profound reminder of the sheer utility of songwriting. It is so much more than just finding words that rhyme.
It is real-time, courageous psychological processing.
You can listen to the full composition on Manda's YouTube channel. Encourage her to continue exploring these emotions by subscribing, leaving her a thumbs up, and feel free to share it with someone who can relate to the emotions.
And as we wrap up, consider the heavy, unresolved emotions that might be looping in your own mind right now. The formless anxieties, the unspoken griefs, or the longings you haven't dared to name. What would happen if, like Manda, you forced those feelings into a structured narrative with a clear beginning, middle, and end? Could naming the ghosts in your own life, giving them a concrete shape and a place to rest on a page, be the key to finally letting them go?
We want to sincerely thank you for the time you gave in listening today. We really look forward to the next exploration into Manda's creative mind, and we invite you to join us for that upcoming journey. Until then, keep looking closely at the things you feel.